Hello, this is Reinhard von Hennigs. And about the question, what is a damage? We have a recent decision of a German court now. The Court of Appeals in Stuttgart, the Oberlandesgericht Stuttgart, ruled in the multi-million-dollar claim from an American holding entity versus the Volkswagen parent entity Porsche SE that there is no damage. Quite disappointing for the shareholders of the American entity. In reality, the question boiled down to what is a damage. Just a quick reminder, some time ago, the lower court decided that there was a damage of 44 million and ruled in favor of the plaintiffs. Plaintiffs, of course, wanted to have more. Porsche felt it should be zero. So both parties went into the appeal, and therefore it was now heard on the appellate level. At the end, the 160 million euro claim, roughly 200 million US dollars, were argued happened due to some exchange risk, due to some risk with the diesel manipulation in the summer of 2015. And therefore, it should be an event where they should be able to recover the 160 million euros. At the end, the court decided that there is no damage because by the same token, when the company, the holding company that is, felt that there could be some trouble, they held Volkswagen stocks. And when the Volkswagen stocks went down at the end, it resulted that this whole situation did not really show a damage as it is. While the legal reasoning is one part, the takeaway is another part. You can only show up in court and say, I have a damage if you have a real damage. If due to the same action or inaction of the same entity, your damage is actually reduced by something else, you are not entitled for a fictitious, very high amount just in order to say, I have high damages. So at the end, a damage is a financial damage, not a damage of the current situation where we're looking in one day, you have a loss. The key takeaway, however, is that the Dieselgate is still not over and there are still courts discussing it, and we shall see what are the next diesel cases around.
Whether you're a private citizen, an international business leader, or simply someone eager to stay on top of the latest news, this book is a great way to get caught up on the most recent developments in the worlds of international business, tax, politics, and social affairs. Go to morningmusings.com and order your copy today.
What is a poison pill? Hello, this is Reinhard von Hennigs. And those of you who like spy movies, yes, you know what a poison pill is. It is this thing a spy carries to poison themselves rather to be interrogated while being in a foreign country which may use torture or all other weird things. But what happened here? Elon Musk offered to buy Twitter for an amount of 43 billion US dollars, which is significantly above the last close of the shares. And the 43 billion cash takeover was answered by the board of Twitter to say, we are now executing a poison pill, which means all the existing shareholders are allowed to purchase shares at a significant discount, which de facto would mean a dilution of the holding Mr. Musk is trying to acquire. So in other words, the reaction from the Twitter's board of directors, which was announced a couple of days after Musk said he wanted to buy, is a protective shareholder plan. And this poison pill is structured in a way to avoid or to discourage a hostile takeover by an acquiring company. So it is a tactic. It is something which is used in order to keep the company as it is and not allowing the company to be sold. Has it been done in the past? Of course. The famous Papa John's takeover in 2018 may be seen as one example where the Papa John's board of directors voted with regard to a takeover plan, and at the end it prevented the takeover of the company. Netflix, a similar scenario. So this leads to the question, why are poison pills used? When a company becomes a target, this company may try to create itself to be less attractive to a potential acquirer, to keep
the touch and feel of the company, the climate of the company, the concepts of the shareholders be in more unison than with a complete takeover. So while there are good sides, there are also bad sides, but on a short term, this may or may not discourage Elon Musk to buy the company, because if he's not able to control the company, then he may not be interested to buy it at all. Elon Musk.
Happy birthday! Who does not like to celebrate the birthday? Hello, this is Reinhard von Hennigs. And the answer is at least one person does not like to celebrate his birthday. Mr. Burling, a man in Kentucky, was forced to celebrate his birthday by the company he worked for. He told his company earlier he would not like a birthday party. Please spare me from that big thing. And the company ignored his wishes and celebrated his birthday. He suffered a panic attack, left the office, ran away, hid in his car, and later contacted his superiors why they did ignore his wishes, as he had clearly communicated his wish. A few days later, he was terminated. And now it happened what is normal in the United States. Somebody, as in the poor man, filed a lawsuit against the company for celebrating a birthday party against his wishes. Now guess, what did the jury say to that? The jury awarded him an amount of $450,000 in damages, $150,000 for lost wages as he was terminated due to his behavior on his birthday party, and another $300,000 for pain and suffering, overall $450,000. While that ruling is not final, both parties appealed. It is, for me, a time to muse about two things. Number one, you as an employer need to learn to help your company to make sure that all the wishes of the employees are well taken care of. There are people who don't celebrate birthdays for multiple reasons, and it could be the public fear. It could be that there is an ethical, religious, or other mindset why birthdays should not be celebrated. So number one is follow the wishes of your employees. And number two, if you ignore it, don't call this person in, tell him he behaved like a woman. That's at least what the news are reporting about this. And don't terminate somebody when the wrongdoer was clearly the company. My key takeaway is not everybody likes birthdays. Something I did not expect, something we should keep in mind. Humanity has more facets than we can imagine. How many different charging standards exist? Hello, this is Reinhard von Hennigs. If it comes down to wearables, to headsets, phones, and you name it, in the future, at least in the European Union, there's only one, the USB-C. De facto, USB-C is already the standard. Apple, however, refuses to accept the standard, quoting that following such a forced situation would reduce innovation and therefore hinder companies to be competitive and innovative. So Apple's sole position of following the Lightning is now in a certain way known in the European Union as the anti-Apple law. And at the end of the day, we will see if the anti-Apple law will pass. Because right now, the experts within the European Parliament voted on that, but it's expected that the final vote for that in the Parliament in May will pass with flying numbers. The overall idea to reduce waste is probably good. 11,000 to 13,000 tons of waste is only the weight of wires being used, sold, and imported into the European Union every year. So this could be cut down because all those wires are interchangeable. How many wires do you have in your own household waiting for a second life because the charging standards changed? So overall, I see it's a good idea. But what's the deal with Apple's claim that this will stop innovation? I don't believe it'll stop innovation. It will, however, create a certain competition about the companies who have the most innovative product. Because USB-C is not the end of the world. And I can see more innovative charging systems, maybe contactless chargings and whatever it is. So the future will be bright for innovation. However,
It will then be up to the company to convince others to follow their standard. And now that's a real quest for innovation here.
When do you start earning money? Hello, this is Reinhard von Hennigs. And the answer is maybe when you start working, then you should start earning money. This is not the case with the airline industry. You start only earning money when the boarding door is closed, which means flight attendants, pilots are required to be early on board for the safety of the passengers who are boarding, with regard to the flight attendants, with regard to the safety of everybody, with regard to the pilots, as they need to check the plane for performance. But the clock starts ticking when the door is closed or when the pushback happens. Now, Delta, one of the larger airlines in the world, announced that they will start paying before for their flight attendants. Not really when the clock starts ticking, but there's a certain 45 minute or so assessment differently from the airplane type, whether it's a narrow body, wide body, or international flight, and no extra delays are not counted extra for accounting purposes. So there's a schedule how much more money you get. Why did Delta Airlines do that? Are they nice? Probably. Considerably, that's again the story I hear as a frequent flyer. They are amongst the highest paying airlines. But I do believe they did that as Delta's cabin staff is one of the few staff which are not unionized. And I can see this as an attempt by Delta Airlines to avoid unions. Is it good or is it bad? I don't know. But I'm going back to my old suspicion that voluntary payments are often given by companies who are non-unionized in order to keep the staff happy, keep the retention low, and most important, have a great customer experience. Food for thought for your company? I'm happy to discuss that. Let me know.